Hi everyone, it's Amanda Niji and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be sharing how I draw kawaii cute dogs on Procreate and transform them into an adorable phone wallpaper design with clean cute line art. So if you love kawaii art and want to learn some fun drawing techniques, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Alright, let's start by drawing the first dog. I begin with a very basic sketch, drawing a cross guideline to mark the position of the face and indicate the direction the head is facing. For the body, I use simple stick figure lines, kind of like drawing a matchstick figure, to quickly map out the pose and limb positions. Once the pose and limb positions are mapped out, I create a new layer to refine my rough sketch. I decided to go with a Bulldog, but honestly you can use this technique for any breed you like. The key to creating a cute and expressive character is to give it a little bit of a human-like pose or personality. For this Bulldog, I imagine it lounging casually on a sofa, sipping a cup of coffee, super relaxed and cozy. If you decide to also draw a Bulldog, be sure to capture its distinct facial features to make it recognizable. On this new layer, I focus on refining the Bulldog's unique traits, especially the facial features. This step doesn't need to be perfect, just enough to capture the character's expression and posture. It's a quick rough sketch to lay down the foundation before diving into the line art. Next, I go back to the rough sketch layer from earlier and increase its opacity so I can draw on it again. I continue using a cross guideline to map out where the dog's facial features will be. For this dog, I wanted to just draw the head and front paws, a close-up shot of a happy pup enjoying a bowl of ramen, and I decided to just draw a Siberian Husky dog. Since I'm going for a cute and playful look, I focused on capturing a blissful expression, eyes gently closed, savoring the delicious ramen broth. I've actually been eating a lot of ramen lately, so this idea felt super fitting. Now it's time to start on the third dog. This one is going to be a little different from the first two. While the first two dogs had human-like poses, one lounging on a sofa and the other happily slurping ramen, this West Highland Terrier will keep a more natural dog pose. However, to give it a bit of personality and a touch of cuteness, I decided to add some human elements. I drew a scarf around its neck and a pair of headphones on its ears. These small details instantly make it look adorable and playful while still keeping a dog-like posture. It's a fun way to blend animal traits with a bit of a human flair. Before we continue with the rest of the dogs, here's a quick sneak peek of how the design is shaping up as a phone wallpaper. You can get this design on my website, link in the video description. Next, we are moving on to the fourth dog. For this one, I want to create a more charming and dynamic pose. As usual, I start by drawing the cross guideline on the face to map out where the facial features will go. Then I use the stick figure technique to sketch out the pose and the body's movement. Once I've got the basic dynamic lines done, I create a new layer and begin adding more details to the dog's facial feature, clothing, and limbs. For this dog, I'm thinking of a Croissant that's in a hurry to get to work. Picture it walking with a briefcase in one paw, munching on a croissant as it goes. I love how this mix of business and playfulness gives it such a fun personality. Now for the last two dogs, these are kind of an extension of the idea we started with. We already drew a dog heading to work, so I thought why not draw one coming back from work, totally exhausted and slouching as it drags itself home. This dog's posture is all hunched over, like it just can't stand up straight anymore because it's so tired. When I first finished sketching, I realized it looked like a Bichon frise, so I didn't plan for it to be that specific breed at first. Then, since we are on this post-work theme, I thought it would be fun to draw a dog who's finally at work, kicking back and scrolling through its phone. I imagined a Schnauzer, all comfy with its head resting on a pillow, casually lounging with one leg up, enjoying some downtime afterward. So that wraps up our rough sketches for all the dogs. Next, we are going to move on to refining those sketches into clean line art and adding color. Now we are going to start working on the more refined line art. I've just realized that my previous footage wasn't in focus very well. I'm so sorry about that. I hope now my video will be in clearer video quality. Now about the brushes I'm using, I think some of you might be interested, so let me quickly mention it. If you want to check out the brushes I use, you can find a bundle called All My Brushes for Procreate on my website. For the previous sketching phase, I was using my favorite sketching brush from the sketching brushes set, and for the line art, I'm now using the double round liner from the liner brushes set. I will also leave the link to purchase them in the video description if you want to try them out. As for the line work itself, it's actually quite relaxing and simple. Just a quick tip, try to avoid using the smoothing feature in Procreate too much, as it will make your lines too smooth and rounded. I prefer keeping a bit of that hand-drawn feel with tiny imperfections and shaky lines, because it just adds a nice touch of personality to the art. I find that's what makes it look more natural. So based on the rough sketch we've already done, I'm just going to trace over the lines on a new layer. One thing to keep in mind, especially when drawing the fur details on the small dogs, is to remember to break the line in certain spots. Since the brush I'm using has rounded tips on both ends, the variation in line thickness is a lot less, so it's really easy to control and great for beginners. Right now, the playback is sped up to about 3 times the speed, so you can see the process more quickly. You will notice I often double tap the screen to undo, because it's pretty common for lines not to come out perfect on the first try. If a line doesn't feel right, I just undo and redraw it. It's all about experimenting and refining until it looks good. I also frequently zoom out to check the overall composition and see how the lines are coming together. It's important not to get too caught up in the details. Taking a step back helps you spot any issues and keeps your drawings balanced. There's really not much else to it, just keep your wrist relaxed and avoid gripping your iPad pencil too tightly. Take your time and enjoy the process. Now that I'm watching myself draw the line art for this croissant eating visit to work dog, I can't help but feel super relatable. I think the reason I decided to draw him eating a croissant is because whenever I'm rushing off to work, I always end up grabbing one too. My favorite is a strawberry croissant. I'm curious, what do you usually eat when you're in a hurry to get to work or school? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know if my illustrations resonate with you. Okay, so when I was working on the line art here, I ran into a bit of a challenge. The Schnauzer's mouth was partially covered by the foam it's holding, and if you know Schnauzers, you know they've got a ton of fluffy facial hair. It was kind of tricky figuring out how to show that detail without it looking weird. What ended up working for me was drawing the foam first and then adding the fur details around it. That made things a lot easier. At first, I didn't use many broken lines for the Schnauzer's fur, but later I went back and added some little gaps along the edges. It really helped give the hair a bit more natural textured feel. Honestly, it was just a lot of trial and error. If something didn't look quite right, I'd just erase it and try again. That's kind of the fun part though. experimenting until it feels right. Next, I created a new layer beneath the line art for coloring. This time I went for light tones with high brightness to give it a fresh and airy vibe. By the way, I'm still using the same brush from the line art stage. At the end, I switched to a different brush from my texture brushes pack called Texture Snowball to add a soft blush to each dog. I feel like those little rosy cheeks instantly make them even cuter. Alright, I hope you enjoyed watching me bring these cute dogs to life. If you like this artwork and want to keep it on your phone, you can grab the wallpaper from my shop. The link is in the video description. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next drawing video.